Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm going to be filming a few makeup collection videos where it provides you guys with an insight into my makeup collection, and I'm going to separate them into sort of sections, I guess. So this first video is going to be my primers, concealers and foundations, and then I think the next one I will do will be my other face/base products, and then I might do like an eye video and then a lip video as well. I really like watching these videos. I like really seeing every single product that somebody owns, so hopefully you guys will find this interesting as well. Now, I don't have a huge makeup collection and I'm not interested in having a huge makeup collection either. Personally, I would prefer to have a smaller makeup collection, one that contains maybe a few products of each individual category of makeup. And I'd like to do that because I feel like it would enable me to sort of rotate through everything on a regular basis. I'm not neglecting any products, and I know then that all the products that I own are products that I have considered, I've really sort of thought about, and I thought, will they be adding something new to my collection? Is this a product that I've really taken some time to think about whether I want it or not? So bear that in mind when you watch these videos. I don't have, 50 plus of every single sort of category of makeup. If that's you and you love having a really big makeup collection, then more power to you. If that makes you happy, go for it. But having a smaller makeup collection makes me happy, and that is what I have, and that is what I will be showing you guys. I'm also on a year-long no-buy as well, so if you've seen any of my previous videos, then you might have noticed that my collection's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. It's because I'm not allowed to bring anything new into my collection unless I have completely used up everything in that category, and I am sort of trying to do more regular declutters as well. So if a product isn't working for me, it's gone. So now that I've told you about my makeup collection and how I want my makeup collection to look, let's go and have a look at the exact products that I own, the primers, foundations and concealers. So I've got them all out here on screen, so I'm going to talk through every single product, my thoughts on them, and just show you guys exactly what I've got in these different categories. Okay, so primer then. I only have one primer, and it is this one. It is the Mercier Pure Canvas Primer Blurring, and you can get these in different finishes, but I wanted something that would just sort of smooth the appearance of my skin, so that's why I went for the blurring one. This one is silicone free as well, and it is 25 mils, so just like 5 mils shy of a full size foundation. This is okay. It's kind of makes my skin feel a tad dry. It definitely makes my hands feel dry when I apply it, so I have to wash my hands immediately after applying it. So I try to only concentrate this on the centre part of my face, so mostly the forehead, my nose and my chin. I find if I put it all over my face, it tends to kind of not so much react with the foundation I put over the top, but it doesn't make the foundation look amazing. It tends to kind of highlight all my sort of pores really. So this is okay. I don't think this is amazing. As it currently stands, I wouldn't repurchase this, but I do have about half of this tube left, I think. So we'll see what my thoughts are once I have finished using this up. Okay, moving on to foundation then, and I have 10 foundations. I started off the year with 14, so I'm pretty chuffed that I'm down to 10 at the moment, and these are all the ones that I own. I suppose you could say not all of them are pure foundations though, because I have a CC cream in there, a BB cream in there, but I kind of grouped them all into one just to make it a little bit easier. So I will run through with you what they all are. This one at the back here, this is the Revolution Conceal and Define Foundation. I am in the shade 3.5. This is a really nice medium to full coverage foundation without being sort of too thick and too heavy. It is a sort of giant doe foot applicator, if I just show you guys. So big doe foot applicator. So I guess there are some issues with hygiene around this product, but I guess it's a bit like a concealer. If you just apply it like you would do a normal concealer, it's fine. I'm not really too fussed about that. Yeah, really like this one. This was recommended by a friend, so thank you very much for your recommendation. I think you are watching. The next one is the e.l.f. Flawless Finish Foundation, and I picked this up as this is meant to be a dupe for one of the NARS ones. I can't remember which NARS one. I've got this in the shade Natural, which is a perfect shade for me. Now, this is a bit of a love it or hate it foundation here on YouTube. I think some people find it too drying. I don't find that. I find that this works pretty well for my sort of combination skin. And now that I've kind of reached my 30s, my skin is more dry than it used to be, so I don't find that this affects the dryness. It's a really nice sort of like frosted glass bottle. Pump. Really nice foundation. I think this was only about 7, 8 quid, I think, so pretty reasonable. I then have two bareMinerals Complexion Rescues. I've got them in the shade Vanilla and in the shade Wheat. This one here, Wheat, this is the one I've got in my current Shop My Stash. And these are great if you want a little bit of coverage but nothing too heavy. So for the summer months at the moment, these are fantastic, and this is when I tend to reach for these products. They're 35 mils, so they are a pretty big tube. And because the coverage of this is light, you can be a bit generous with what shade you go for. So if you can't find your exact shade, it doesn't matter if you go a shade up or a shade down. They are very forgiving, so that's why I've got a couple. Vanilla, I suppose, is my true shade, my perfect shade, but I can get away with wearing Wheat. Okay, so moving on to the second row then. The first one is Estee Lauder Double Wear Light. This one is brilliant. This is basically what the title says. It's just a lighter version of Double Wear. So you get more coverage than you would do the bareMinerals ones, but not as full coverage as your original Double Wear, and it's not as matte. It's more of like a dewy, luminous finish. Now, I'm not hugely keen on dewy because I find it tends to make my skin look wet. This doesn't. This gives my skin like a nice healthy glow, so I really do like the finish of this one. I'm in the shade Ecru, and again, this is 30 mils. This is really lovely. SPF 10. I mean, it's not a great amount of SPF, and I wouldn't rely on SPF in your makeup, but it's always handy to have just a little bit of extra SPF. Really do love this foundation here, and again with the bareMinerals, I tend to go for this one in the summer when I want a bit of coverage, but I don't want to feel like I'm wearing a thick layer of foundation. And then next to it, I've got the original Double Wear. This is brilliant. This is a great option if you want that full coverage matte foundation, if you want your foundation to look flawless, but you don't want it to look thick and heavy as well. Double Wear has really nailed that look, so this is a real trusty foundation. I rarely wear this one though, and I've got, as you can see there, just sort of less than half of it. So although I don't wear it that often, I don't really want to get rid of it, because if I want that full coverage look, this is the one that I go for. So I will hang on to this one, and it is brilliant. And again, I'm in the shade Ecru. Real great trusty full coverage foundation. I've then got a couple of lighter coverage ones. So I've got my Erborian BB Creme in the shade Nude. Shade ranges for this are pretty poor. I think there's still only 4 shade ranges you can get. Luckily, Nude suits me pretty well, but I know some people do struggle with finding a shade that suits them. This has much better coverage than the CC cream does, and you would think it would be the other way around. This provides a great amount of coverage. It's sort of light to medium buildable coverage, but it makes your skin look like glass. It is gorgeous. I absolutely love this BB cream. Once I have used up this small one, which is, how big are you? 15 mil, so half the size of a standard foundation, I will actually end up buying the full size of this because I think it is absolutely brilliant, would highly recommend. However, one I would not recommend, oh, it fell, is my IT Cosmetics CC cream. This is in my current project pan. I really struggle with this. I'm so back and forth with my thoughts on this. At the beginning of the month, this looked really lovely on my skin. Now it looks horrible. It's really orange, it's patchy, it's quite kind of difficult to blend. It claims to be sort of medium full coverage, but I don't find that with this. And this really does dry my skin out as well. So this over the top with my Laura Mercier foundation, my skin, primer, sorry, Laura Mercier primer, my skin just feels so dry. And this is a 12 ml tube, I think, and I'm having difficulty squeezing this out now, so I'm hoping I will be done with this very, very soon. Within the next month, I'm hoping. Would not repurchase this. I'm in the shade Light. It's, yeah, just really not keen on this. Okay, and then my last 2 foundations are both powder foundations. I have the bareMinerals Original Loose Mineral Powder Foundation in the shade Fairly Light. I love this foundation. This is so nice. It gives your skin sort of a real buildable coverage, but great coverage as well. And I didn't think a powder foundation would work. I thought you can't get coverage with a powder, you have to go in with a liquid. But I tried this and it is just absolutely brilliant. I rarely use this though because this does take a while to apply. You have to spend a fair amount of time buffing it into your skin, so that's really the reason why I don't use it that often, because I can't always be bothered, or I don't always have enough time to use this type of foundation. But really, really lovely, and only 5 ingredients as well, so that's also a bonus. And then my last foundation here is another powder foundation, and this is a pressed powder foundation. This is by Lauder, and this is the Baked, Balanced and Brighten Colour Correcting Foundation in the shade Fair, and this is the super size. Now the hinge did break, so I have secured it kind of with a hairband, but like you just saw, this really does ping off quite easily. So you do get a little mirror, hello. And then this is what it looks like. Now, this runs quite dark, so I don't usually go for fair. I tend to go for light options in foundations, but I had to go for fair because I heard so many reviews that the light was quite orange. Now with the fair, I do have to be light-handed with it. I have to know when to stop, and I think you have to stop before you think you've got enough coverage, because if you keep going, you can easily look like your skin is quite dark, it's quite orange, and it looks a little bit too obvious that you've got a lot of foundation on. So definitely a light hand with this, probably more of a softer, fluffier brush than a dense one, but really great coverage. And because this is marbled and it's colour correcting, if you're in a real rush, you can whack this on and then don't have to bother with blusher or bronzer or highlighter, because this gives you coverage but it also makes your skin look like skin instead of making it look like a blank canvas, which is what lots of other foundations do. So really, really like this, really like how it looks, but use it with a light hand. But also, like with my bareMinerals one, I rarely use this. I'm just a liquid foundation girl. As much as I love a powder option, I definitely choose liquid over powder, but still very nice. I have one colour corrector, and this is by Bobbi Brown, and this is the colour correcting concealer, or just colour corrector, I think. I am in the shade Light Bisque, and that's because my dark circles are sort of bluey purpley in toned. So apparently bisque shades are better for those type of dark circles. If your dark circles are more sort of greeny grey, then I think peach tones are better for you. So I've got the shade Light Bisque. And then you open it up, it's got a little mirror like that, and then that is the shade. So it's a very light pink shade. And this I just tend to apply with my finger to my dark circles, pat it onto the skin, and it doesn't completely get rid of the discoloration, but it just helps to minimise it a little bit, because my dark circles are pretty bad. And then when I put concealer over the top of this, it creates a nice sort of, I look more awake look to my skin. So without this, I definitely notice that I'm not wearing it. But when I am wearing this, I don't feel like my makeup is really heavy. So a light layer of this doesn't seem to sort of affect how my under eyes look. So this is very, very handy to have in my collection. If you have dark circles, I would recommend getting yourself a colour corrector. Okay, and moving on to concealers then. I've got 6 concealers at the moment. So starting off with this one is my Tarte Shape Tape. This is the one that is in my current project pan, and it's taken me bloody ages to use up. I thought it would do anyway, because it's a fairly new concealer, and concealers take ages to use up anyway. I'm in the shade Fair Light Neutral, which is a really good shade for me. Great coverage, a little bit drying though. This used to be my favourite concealer, but I think now it's not. Yeah, do like it though, but I don't think I would repurchase it. And I did have 3 unopened Tarte concealers in the exact same shade, but I ended up selling them earlier this year, which I'm so pleased about, because knowing that I have 3 more of these that need using up would have been quite daunting. So I've only got this one now to use up. It's nice enough, but I don't think I would end up rebuying it, to be honest. I've then got 2 Fenty ones here, and I was shade matched to these. I know my Fenty foundation shade, so on the website they match you up to all the colours of their like powders, bronzers, blushes, concealers, and I was matched to the shades 150 and 185, and they both have different uses, and I can't remember which way round it is, but one of them is for things like dark circles, the other one is things for like your under eye and blemishes. I'm not quite sure which way round it is, but one of them, so this one here, what's this one? 185 is more yellow than 150. 150 is a bit more pink. but I can never remember which way around it is, so I always have to go on their website and figure out how I should be using them. Really great concealers, sort of medium coverage, but they are buildable. And the doe foot is quite sort of thin, really flexible, but it's quite thin. It's not a thick doe foot. Trying to get that to focus. There we go. So you can see the doe foot isn't hugely thick. It's not hugely thin either. It's quite a nice, precise one, but you still are able to dispense quite a fair amount of product on your face. But very nice concealers. I think these are fast becoming my new favourite concealer. So these are replacing Shape Tape. And then the front row, I've got my Revolution Conceal and Define Concealer here, and I bought this along with the foundation. Works really well with the foundation, also works really well on its own as well. Bit of a small amount of product, I think it's only 5ml, but it's a really chunky tube. So if you compare it to the Fenty one, it's a lot thicker, but there's less product. Shade again, I'm in 3.5, which is a really good shade for me. Really nice concealer this is. I would definitely repurchase this, and I think it's only about a £5. The doe foot is thicker than the Fenty one. And also this is not messy at all. Look at the outside of that tube. And if you compare it to the Tarte one, you see all that product there? Now I have recently cleaned that. It will go all the way down here. It will spill over the sides. So I'm wasting a lot of product, which for a £20 odd concealer, I am not happy about. All right, next one, my least favourite concealer. This is the e.l.f. 16-hour Camo Concealer. This dries so quickly. So as soon as you've applied it to your face, you have to get in it and start working with it, start blending it out. You can't leave it under your eyes to sort of set a little bit and then blend in, because it will not budge. This is very drying. Don't really like how this looks. I am expecting at some point during the year to declutter this, but I want to give it a little bit longer. I don't really want to give up on products too quickly. Shade, I am in the shade Light Sand, which is a pretty good shade match for me. Yeah, I don't really love this one. I do want to try the hydrating one though, but this one would not repurchase. And then last one is my Too Faced Born This Way concealer in the shade Porcelain, which is not porcelain in the slightest. Look how dark and yellowy orange that is. That is not porcelain. No way on this world. This is a massive concealer. This is 15ml, so this is basically double your size of a standard concealer and half the size of a standard foundation. I'm not looking forward to panning this, because I've seen so many panning videos here on YouTube where it takes people ages to pan this concealer, and this is pretty new as well. I don't find the coverage on this to be anything special. It's okay. I'm just not blown away by this concealer, and I was expecting to be, so pretty disappointed with this one. But this is one that I do want to include in more sort of shop my stashes and see if my opinion of this changes, but as it stands, it's just okay. Okay, and last product, because I don't really know where else to include this. This is my setting spray, and this is the only setting spray I have. I don't really feel the need to have more than one setting spray at any one time. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray in 34ml. So this is the mini size or the travel size, and I wanted to buy the travel size to just sort of try it out first, see if I like it. I have about a third left of this, I would say. And this has taken me ages to get through, which I'm really pleased about. This is a lovely setting spray. This really does set my makeup all day. This is on par with the Urban Decay All Nighter setting spray, in my opinion. Really nice fine mist as well. I won't spray it for you because knowing me, I'll probably get it on my camera. But really nice fine spray. I would definitely keep this bottle and fill it with something else. But yeah, really nice setting spray. Would definitely repurchase this, and I was a bit concerned that it's quite expensive for the amount that you're getting, and I'm going to get through it very quickly, but I'm not. So although this is fairly expensive, this will take a long time to get through. So those were my primers, foundations, concealers and setting spray. So I will have more videos like this showing the rest of my collection coming soon, so keep your eyes peeled for those. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you again soon in my next one, guys. Bye.